Hello from ChemHelp ASAP. In this video, we will focus on how the US FDA defines a drug. Upon completion of this video, students will be able to define a drug, list approval criteria of the US FDA, and distinguish drug discovery from drug development. Below is the definition of a drug according to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. A drug is a substance recognized by an official pharmacopoeia or formulary. So you and I cannot declare something to be a drug on our own. The substance must be listed in an authoritative drug reference. Okay, next bullet. A drug is a substance intended for use in the diagnosis, cure, mitigation, treatment, or prevention of disease. I tend to focus on the cure, mitigation, treatment functions, but diagnostic agents such as contrast dyes for certain types of imaging of tissues are also drugs. Some substances have multiple functions. A cholesterol-lowering drug may be a treatment of elevated cholesterol in order to prevent cardiovascular disease. A substance other than food intended to affect the structure or any function of the body. So food is not a drug. Nutritional supplements are also not drugs. Note that the distinction between drugs and supplements and even cosmetics can be very confusing for customers, especially when sellers use terms like nutraceutical or cosmeceutical in marketing. Finally, a substance intended for use as a component of a medicine, but not a device or a component part or accessory of a device. Note that devices are not drugs, but the FDA does have authority over medical devices, items like pacemakers, drug inhalers, or insulin injection pumps. So these are the boundaries of drugs as defined by the US FDA. One of the key steps to becoming a drug is to be listed in an official formulary, and in the United States, the FDA controls which drugs are listed. The FDA drug review process for drug approval is therefore vital for a substance to become a drug. What are the FDA's approval criteria? The FDA ensures that a drug is safe and effective. These are actually very vague approval criteria, as the definition of safe and effective will vary from one drug to another. The criteria safe and effective give the sponsoring drug company the opportunity to define safe and effective in a way that is appropriate for each new drug. Of course, the sponsoring company will need the FDA to agree with how the criteria are defined. How does a sponsoring drug company establish that a substance is safe and effective? This is the role of research and development in a drug company. Normally, these activities are described as drug discovery and drug development. So drug discovery, which covers preclinical research, research in a lab and studies in animals, and drug development, the clinical trial phase with studies in humans, are a company's opportunity to gather data and evidence for the FDA. Ultimately, these data, this body of evidence, will be examined by the FDA and evaluated for whether the sponsoring company has met the requirement of safety and efficacy for the substance so that it may be approved as a drug. We have now seen the US FDA's definition of a drug. We have listed the approval criteria, safe and effective. Finally, we have defined drug discovery and drug development as the stages during which a drug company gathers evidence of a substance's safety and efficacy. Thank you for watching this video on the US FDA's definition of a drug. Questions are always welcome. Please like, subscribe, or leave a comment. Take care.